Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the course Management Information Systems. In the last lecture, we were discussing the wireless technology and different types of wireless communication standards. Last lecture में हम देख रहे थे कि wireless communication standards कौन-कौन से हैं. We looked at the different kinds of standards that were given by the IEEE और उन standards के कुछ नाम थे. And they had their own sets of frequency, own set of range. For example, Bluetooth that was working on a smaller range, transmitting data through the radio waves, and it was basically used to create PAN networks or personal area networks. Then we studied the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is wireless fidelity, which is a network standard again for communication between different devices, computers or devices, and it has a certain range, and we saw that it was working on different kinds of speeds. We had Wi-Fi के अंदर जो IEEE ने standards दिए हैं, that was 802.11, A, B, G and N. All of these had different kinds of speeds and they were working in the same bandwidth, that is 2.4 gigahertz. Then we said that there's another standard called WiMAX. WiMAX again is used in areas जो कि remote areas हैं जहाँ पे cabling मुश्किल है और जहाँ पे you cannot have a Wi-Fi setup. So WiMAX was basically the standard given by IEEE that allows communication between different devices over the long ranges. और उसमें हमने देखा था कि उसकी range is around 30 to 31 miles, which is approximately the same range as the microwave stations. Again, WiMAX में WiMAX towers use होते हैं that communicate data from one tower to another or take the data from one device and transfer it to the internet, provide the internet functionality to it. Then we looked at another kind of standard called the RFID system, radio frequency identification. उसमें देखा था that it is basically a standard that provides communication between a device and a tag. So basically उसमें RFID tag को read कर रहा है RFID reader, and we saw that RFID tag जो है that is of two types, active tag है, passive tags हैं, और वो transmit कर रहे हैं data that is read by the RFID reader that takes in the data, captures the data, decodes the data and then sends it off to the other computer through the network. Also we saw that different types of applications of the telecommunications and wireless technology के different applications देखे थे in the businesses में किस तरह use हो सकते हैं. For example, you could have the very basic thing being that you could create networks, you could create peer-to-peer architectures or client-server architectures, you can create LANs with it, connect your office computers by creating a local area network, or you can also create a network with your offices are dispersed over locations by creating a MAN, or you could simply connect with them through the help of collaboration softwares and collaborate over certain projects even if you are at dispersed locations geographically. Also we saw that because of this there were different kinds of other functionalities provided. For example, there was electronic document distribution. With the help of internet you can simply distribute a document electronically in a digital format. You don't need to print that document, you don't need to print certain pages and waste pages. You only need to send the document through either emails or any other kind of software, and then you can modify the document collectively as well. Also, there was also a thing called electronic data interchange that was basically providing communication between providing the data transfer between one application software of one company or the application software of another company, or between the data is transferred from one computer from one company to another computer from the other company. So in that way they're basically standardizing the way the data is communicated from one company to another, and it's basically used between the vendor company, the supplier company, as well as the people who are in the production side. I'll give you an example of UPS, the packaging service that also has an EDI based system working between it and the US Custom and Border Protection company. So it was transferring the data about the packaging from the UPS to that CPB. Also, another application was the electronic funds transfer. That was basically the system of transferring money from one bank to another, or transferring money or from for example payroll checks जो हैं वो deposit हो रहे हैं आपके बैंक account में आपके employer के बैंक account से. So this is again an example of electronic funds transfer. इसके अलावा we looked at that it provides a collaboration as well. आपके जो telecommunication systems हैं, they provide you with collaboration facilities. You can use softwares and collaborate online and work on different projects as well. Right, so this was basically all about telecommunications and wireless. Today we're going to start off with the internet. We're going to see कि internet क्या है, discuss how the internet works and its support for telecommunications and e-business. Again, कि आपके internet के basics देखेंगे. We're going to look at everything briefly, as well as what is the World Wide Web and different applications and the services provided by the internet. Right, internet is basically a worldwide public communication system. Right, अब internet इतना ज़्यादा फैल गया that it has billions of users connected with it, and it's a worldwide connection of networks that links billions of diverse users. दुनिया के किसी भी कोने में लोगों ने अगर interact करना है from one point to another, geographically dispersed लोगों ने भी अगर communicate करना है, they all communicate with the help of internet. So it is one public communication system that covers the whole world. And also, it's the world's largest implementation of client-server computing, because your computer is a client and it is connected with any kind of server or provost server, a core server से connected है, taking information or forwarding information. So it's basically a very largest implementation of a client-server architecture or computing. So internet is basically something that you use that is being used extensively all over the world. छोटे से छोटे काम के लिए you're not only using the networks, but जो basic network है, आपका सबसे बड़ा network जो है, that you are using, that is the internet. Either if you're sending emails, you're trying to communicate with one person through instant messaging, or you're doing even if you're looking for any kind of information, or you're collaborating, even collaboration softwares require you need to be connected to the internet. So there are many uses of the internet, and you use internet in your daily lives as well. शुरू कहाँ से होता है? Let's have a look at the history of the internet. Is that it started as an ARPANET project. ARPANET was basically a project of an agency that was working with the Department of Defense in US, and it started in 1970s. Because 1969 1970s में ये project शुरू हुआ था. और initial goal क्या था? What was the basic idea behind starting off this project was कि different scientists जो हैं different locations के ऊपर या different researchers जो हैं उनको collaborate करने के लिए and to share their information. They were basically giving them a platform to share information and work together on different military and scientific projects. So different projects पे काम करने के लिए scientists और universities को connect करने के लिए और information share कराने के लिए ये project शुरू हुआ था. And initially they did not have in mind that everybody is going to adopt this internet, and there are going to be many users that are going to be connected to this network. Originally it started with 4 main computers. Computers meaning that they were the hosts or the web servers जिनको कहते हैं. So there were basically 4 hosts that were connecting different computers together. Now internet has grown into a public, cooperative, independent network, and it has more than 1 billion host nodes as well. And it is basically nobody owns the internet, and it is a free, cooperative, independent network. However, different countries के जो network access providers हैं, they control the traffic of the internet, for example, and they also control that what sites are to be shown in a certain country and what sites are not to be shown, but nobody as such owns the whole internet. So basically it's a free medium. There are certain organizations that are working towards research that are doing certain kind of research and working towards creating standards for different parts of the internet, that this has to work in this way, or the web pages have to show in this way, या ये language use होनी है, ये वाला format follow करना है, stuff like that. And one of them is W3c, जो कि W3c Consortium, that basically is an organization that researches and sets standards and guidelines about different parts of the internet. That for example HTML language use करनी है, या आपने कौन सी language use करनी है to format a web page. So this is basically a brief history about the internet, that where did the internet basically start from. ठीक है, एक project से शुरू हुआ था, and then that project was basically आहिस्ता आहिस्ता बढ़ते बढ़ते it started incorporating everybody around the world. Right जी, now how does the internet basically work? इसमें पहली चीज़ तो हम देखेंगे कि आपका internet address क्या होता है. ठीक है, then we're going to see that how does the traffic flow from one point to another. Basically, the internet that is again based on the TCP/IP network protocol. Why? Because it's all about sending packets from one point to another, from one computer to the destination computer. So since it's all about sending the packets from one place to another, then every computer on the over the internet that is connected to the internet, or that is connected to the network, has a certain internet address. Right ji. So basically our internet address is again called the IP address as well. It's a 32-bit number which is represented by 4 strings of numbers. For example, we have a 207.46.250.119. So that basically defines your sort of the internet address, or the address of your computer. So it's basically a unique identity of your computer if your computer is connected to the network. The first portion, that is 207, basically that defines the country code, and then that basically defines कि आपका जो computer है वो किस area में located है, and then the last one uniquely identifies the computer itself. Then, because it's a number and it's difficult to remember these numbers, then all the servers that you also get information from, for example a web server that holds a certain web page, then usko access करने के लिए आप किस तरह लिखेंगे. For this, there's a system called the domain name system, which basically is all about giving an English name that corresponds to the 32-bit number. So इस number के against, as you can see here, this is the IP address and the domain name is this one. So this is basically the name of any website. So this is how it identifies a web server. For example, web server के ऊपर ये वाली site पड़ी है, then we are going to access this site, and this in turn means that it's going to, जब वो computer की form में उसको लेके जाएगा, then it's going to get the information from this address. Right ji. And then we have a DNS server that holds the list of IP addresses that are mapped to their domain names. So एक DNS server होता है that is usually placed with the ISPs that have the list of the domain names corresponding to the different IP addresses. Different IP addresses होते हैं servers के, for example, and those IP addresses are mapped to their domain names. उनके corresponding कौन से domain names हैं वो सारे server में पड़े होते हैं. And then when we're talking about domains, then the last bit is called the .com जो होती है. com जो है, for example, is the top level domain. Right, www here means that this basically is placed on the web server. जिसके ऊपर web pages पढ़े हैं या websites पढ़ी हैं, then this site is basically placed on a web server. And this is the home domain. So top level domain के बाद भी in some points यहाँ पे आता है, for example .pk. So international websites that are placed outside the USA use a 2-letter country code, for example PK for used for Pakistan. अगर आप इसी तरह Google के ऊपर जाते हैं तो it's www.google.com.pk या /pk. So that means that that site is going to give you more information from the from local websites या local content को वो ज़्यादा लेके आएगा if it's .pk. Because and also that the server is जो server जो आप जिसको access कर रहे हैं that is placed in the in some other country that is outside the USA. Right, top level domains जो हैं वो different types की हैं. For example, we have com that is basically used for commercial organizations, businesses and companies. Then we have the .edu. If you have comsats.edu, that means it's an educational institute. That website is about the educational institute. And then we have .gov, basically means that it is about the governments. So if you have any site .gov.pk means that it is basically a Pakistan government site. Then again it's MIL is for sites about the military organizations. .net, again it's comsats.net. Then that means कि वो comsats के जो internet service providers हैं उनकी site है. Then that is about the network providers. Org again is for organizations, but this is for the non-profit organizations. So if you have a .org, that means it is a non-profit organization. इसके अलावा there are other top level domains जो कि हैं, for example BIZ again is for businesses of all sizes. Info है .info अगर आता है, that is business organization, individuals providing general information, and so on and so forth. So there are different kinds of top level domains here that define कि आपकी जो certain website है what is it about. On वो सिर्फ domain से ही आपको पता लगता है कि वो किस domain के अंदर आ रही हैं. Either it's in a commercial organization, non-profit organization, government organization, etc. etc. So basically they used to define that. Right. So basically जब you are connecting to the internet, then there are two basic companies that are involved. एक तो internet service providers होते हैं, ISPs जिनको कहते हैं, is a company that provides people and organizations access to the internet. And also इनका access provide करने के different तरीके हो सकते हैं depending on the kind of service you require and the kind of facilities that you have. For example, if you have the simple telephone lines, तो वो किसी ज़माने में dial-up connections provide करते थे. Now most of the ISPs provide broadband internet access through DSL lines, cable or satellite transmission, and also through fiber cable as well. For example, Neatel is providing broadband communication through fiber optics. And then some universities and businesses also use very fast T1, T3 lines to connect to the internet. So T1, T3 lines जो हैं, they provide very fast connectivity. So usually universities and businesses use these kind of connectivity lines. Then we have the wireless internet service provider, also called WISP, जिसको हम कहते हैं, जो कि आपको केबल के थ्रू इंटरनेट नहीं प्रोवाइड करे. They're not providing you internet through any kind of physical medium, but they're providing internet through the wireless. For example, if you only have a wireless modem installed, तो आप wirelessly connect कर रहे हैं through to any kind of service provider, and you are connecting to the internet. For example, you have this Evo device that is basically a wireless modem connecting you wireless connectivity with the with PTCL that is also working as a WISP as well. Internet जो है वो ISP के तौर पे भी काम कर रहा है और wireless internet service provider के तौर पे भी काम कर रहा है. इसके अलावा there are other companies as well. So basically internet access करने का architecture क्या है, ये थोड़ा सा explain किया गया है इधर. When you're on the internet, then your computer is basically a client that is accessing information from the server, and it could not be only one server, it could be multiple servers. So for example, if your computer wants to send a certain kind of data to another computer and the other computer is on the same network, then that means कि वो data directly उस computer को चला जाएगा. But if that computer is somewhere else, that destination computer is maybe geographically somewhere else located, then इसका मतलब है कि आपका जो data है that travels from one server to another server and then reaches the destination computer. So basically आपका जो internet system है या जो internet architecture है, it basically works as a जैसे transportation होती है, traffic होती है, उस तरह काम कर रहा होता है. For example, you have the small roads, you have the streets, then you have the regional roads, and then you have the sort of motorways, and then you have certain kind of other roads that are connecting between different countries. So similarly जो आपका network traffic जो है, network traffic है, वो भी इसी तरह काम करती है. You are connected to certain kind of ISP. The ISP is connected to a certain kind of another regional network or a countrywide network. That network is connected with the internet backbone that is transferring data from one country to another or between different continents. So internet traffic basically flows from one network to another network and the internet backbone through the internet backbone again is transferred to another kind of network that belongs to a certain destination computer. So internet data traffic is carried over transcontinental high-speed internet backbone. So internet backbone है, that is basically made up of fiber optics and इसकी speed usually बाकी network से ज़्यादा होती है. Usually it works at the 45 megabits per second to 2.5 gigabits per second between different countries. Right, ji? So the traffic or the network traffic or the packets that move from one place to another pass through different kinds of networks. So at the sending end, आपका जो data है, that is divided into packets according to the TCP protocol, and then those packets move from one server to another server that is placed in another network and then passes through the internet backbone, and once it's on the internet backbone, then it becomes a part of the public internet, and then it moves on to another network, and on the destination side using the IP protocol, again the packets are created into one data and आपको वो data show होता है. Then in addition to backbone, the internet encompasses an integrated collection of regional and local communication links. ठीक है, वो ये जो सारे networks create हो रहे हैं, these networks are created through the help of links, which could be telephone lines, cable television lines, DSL lines, or they could be wireless communication medium as well. So the regional telecommunication links leaves the access to ISPs and other companies to be connected to the internet. But next we will going to talk about the World Wide Web. World Wide Web basically again started off as a project and it was basically initially developed at CERN. That is an organization that is working in Geneva, Switzerland, and it was the most popular internet service. जो आपका World Wide Web है, उसको हम कहते हैं कि it is again a service that is provided by the internet. Internet की वजह से आपको एक service provide की गई है so that you can simply access the different kinds of sites, web pages, searches, etc. जो भी आप काम करने हैं internet से, that is apart from emailing and other kind of things, आप जो एक service avail कर सकते हैं, that is the World Wide Web. Right जी. Basically आपका World Wide Web क्या है? It consists of a worldwide collection of electronic documents. Worldwide collection of electronic documents है, उन electronic documents को हम web page बोलते हैं. So web pages जो हैं वो different web pages मिला के एक complete website बनाते हैं. And basically these websites are placed on web servers, and a web server is a computer that delivers requested web pages to your computer. आपकी जो websites हैं that are placed on different kinds of web servers, और उन्हीं web servers को आप access करते हैं by giving a certain kind of URL जिसको हम अभी आगे जाके देखते हैं, and you access that site, and that site that is requested, or that page that is requested is shown to you on the web browser. So web browser क्या चीज़ है आपकी? It's basically an application program that is used to access the any kind of information from the internet, or simply it accesses the websites. Right जी, अब यहाँ पे website की definition में it's not only a collection of web pages, but also it includes the items that are associated with it. Items associated with it means that उसके अंदर textual information जो है, उसके अंदर images हैं, videos हैं, hyperlinks हैं, all these kind of things. Hyperlink क्या होता है? When you click on a certain link and it moves on to another page, that is called a hyperlink. Right जी, so the web page not only consists of that textual information, it consists of the different kinds of items that are associated with it. So all of that makes up the whole website, which means the images and the videos and any other kind of applets, widgets जो भी इसके साथ attached हैं, they are all part of the website. So hypertext transfer language is a language for formatting documents and web pages and incorporating dynamic link to other documents and pictures stored on the same or remote computer. So basically HTML एक language define की गई है that is used for formatting the documents, कि जो documents जो हैं और जो web pages हैं जो web के ऊपर show होंगे वो किस तरह show होंगे और कौन सा format follow कर रहे हैं, कौन से standards follow कर रहे हैं, किस तरह उनको लिखा जाएगा. So that is all defined in the hypertext transfer language, and this is not the only language that is used, but also it is accompanied by ASP or different other kinds of languages, yeah, and PHP as well, जो कि open source language है. So all these kind of languages basically follow a certain standard of formatting pages and incorporating different links in the pages as well. Pictures, images, videos, किस format के according include करेंगे web page में, ये सारी languages जो हैं ये वो define करती हैं. Right जी, then we talk about, पहले हमने बात की थी internet address की. Internet address was basically the address of a certain computer, right? If you want to access any computer on the internet, then you use the internet address. Web address basically is a unique address of the web page, and it's also called the URL or the Uniform Resource Locator. That basically URL जो होता है a complete address होता है of a specific thing that you require from a certain website. Right जी, for example, even if अगर आप लिखेंगे www.facebook.com, then it's not really going to open facebook.com. वो /login करके automatically आपको एक first page आपको दे देता है जो required होता है. इसी तरह for example, if you have written any other kind of site, उसके आगे at times /index आ जाता है या /login आ जाता है. So these are the basic pages जिसको हम home page भी कहते हैं, that comes on the forefront. कुछ home pages जो होते हैं that are working as portals as well. PORTALs, that is the definition of portal, is a kind of a home page that basically provides you a gateway to get into the different websites that are associated with that site, or different kind of pages that are, or different kind of other services that are associated with the portal. For example, www.yahoo.com again is जो उसका first page है, that is the web portal page. Portal इसलिए है because आप उसके अंदर chat, emails, news, etc. सारी चीजें access कर सकते हैं, and they're all indexed into one page. News भी मिलेगी आपको, sports भी मिलेगा, entertainment भी मिलेगा, everything is on one page, और आप कोई भी click करके एक certain set of web pages में enter कर सकते हैं. Right जी, so web browser again retrieves a web page using this web address. आप web address लिखते हैं उसके address bar में जिसको आप कहते हैं, and that specific page is retrieved from the web server and shown into the web browser. So many addresses usually start with HTTP, which is a hypertext transfer protocol. Basically, it's a set of rules that defines how pages transfer over the internet. So आपके जो basically ये protocol है define करता है कि जो pages हैं वो internet पे किस तरह transfer होंगे, and even if you don't write that, तो basically browsers में inbuilt functionality होती है that they define the HTTP themselves. Right जी, so next here is a simple example कि आपकी simple जो URL है वो किस किस्म का है. So we have http www.usparks.com/Grand Canyon/scenic vistas etc.html. So इसमें this becomes your protocol, HTTP is your protocol, this whole is the domain name, ठीक है, that has a top level domain as well as the middle domain, कि आपके जो पेज है वो कौन से सर्वर के ऊपर पड़ा हुआ है, and then that gives the path of the web page name. So this is basically your web page. Scenic Vistas, for example, is the web page that you require. So आप ये full address देंगे to get to a certain page. Either you give this full address or you move from one page to another through clicking and hyperlinks की मदद से आप इस पेज के ऊपर जाएंगे, and this will be shown in the address bar. So this is a very simple thing कि आपको जो web address है वो basically क्या define कर रहा है and how does it differ from the internet address. The internet address basically is an address that points you to a certain computer, and उस computer पे if you want to access a certain web page, for example if it's a web server, तो आप जो लिखेंगे that will be the URL of that web page. Okay, also when you're working with the web browser, तो web browser के अपने different kinds of functionalities होते हैं. For example, it can show you the source code of the web page as well. Also, there are certain kinds of plugins as well, जो कि different external programs होते हैं that can be executed whenever the web browser requires it to execute. For example, अगर आप web page के अंदर आपका एक link है जिसमें PDF open हो रहा है, Adobe file open हो रही है, then it has a plugin that has the capability of opening the PDF file in the web browser as well, or separately if it is required. And different kinds of web browser कौन से, for example we have Firefox, Internet Explorer, and Apple का जो web browser है, that is Safari. So there are different kinds of web browsers that you can use. Also Google Chrome is again a web browser that can be used to access different kinds of websites. Right, the next thing that is associated with the World Wide Web is the search engine. Search engine, for example, क्या चीज़ है? अगर आपने simple Google use किया होगा, www.google.com, तो वो क्या चीज़ आपको show करता है, आपको capability देता है कि आप search कर सकें कोई भी word, कोई भी document, कुछ भी चीज़ आप search करना चाहें, आप Google में उसको type करते थे. या simply जो चीज़ हम बोलते हैं that you simply Google a certain thing. Googling means that you are searching for it over the internet. So search engine basically it's a program that finds different websites, web pages, images, videos, news and other kind of information over the internet. And this word and the kind of word or phrase that is given into the जो आप उसके बार में लिखते हैं, that is called the search text or keyword. कोई भी आप keyword देते हैं, अब keyword देने के different तरीके होते हैं. Either you give it with a space, आप plus का sign लिख के दे सकते हैं. Quotation marks में अगर आप कोई एक sentence लिखेंगे तो आपको exactly वही sentence से related चीज़ें लेके आएगा. Then it's not going to break that sentence into different kinds of words. So it basically depends on the kind of search word that you're writing in it that brings in the request जो भी आपने किया है उसी के accordingly आपको उसके results मिल रहे होते हैं. For example, if you want to write the word currency rate, right? So probably it's going to give you results जिसमें currency अलग से होगा, rate अलग से होगा. But if you put all of those in the quotation marks, तो currency rate will be one word and it will be taken as one word और आपको currency rate के accordingly सारे results नजर आएंगे. So the results that are shown on the search engine page are called as hits. ठीक है, आपके जो hits हैं वो अब बहुत diverse किस्म के हो गए. Diverse meaning that they are of different types now. They're not just HTML pages but they are also Microsoft Office files. ठीक है, आपके PowerPoints, Word files, जो भी information it can retrieve over the internet, search engines now show that as well. Also PDF files, also video files as well as images, जो भी internet पे उसको मिलता है that is of diverse forms, वो सारी forms आपको लाके दिखाता है. So it's not only about giving you the websites, it's also about giving you different kinds of documents that are present on the internet as well. Since वेब पेजेस में हमने कहा था कि वेब पेजेस में different kinds of hyperlinks भी incorporate होते हैं, as well as images, videos and different kinds of documents are also incorporated in the web pages nowadays. So the search engine looks for those documents as well. Concerning the search engine, जब हम search engine की बात करते हैं, and if you look at for example Google को ही आप ले लें, उसके ऊपर जब आप देखते हैं, then एक सबसे टॉप के ऊपर you have the sponsored links, उसके साइड के ऊपर there are other kinds of boxes में दूसरी तरह के sponsored links होते हैं. So what are these sponsored links? That is basically a form of search engine marketing. So sponsored links for which advertisers have paid to be listed. So उन advertisers ने basically उस company को pay किया हुआ है, for example Google को, that you have to show our links as sponsored links. ठीक है, sponsored links means that उन्होंने pay किया हुआ है कि आपने हमारा link show करना है इस box में या इस जगह के ऊपर. And search engine marketing basically आपका it's a fastest growing internet advertising campaign जिसको हम कहते हैं, वो बन गया कि सर्च इंजन में जो पेज सबसे ऊपर नज़र आ रहा है या जो साइट वेब सबसे ऊपर नज़र आ रही है, that is going to get the maximum clicks, and if it's going to get the maximum clicks, that means कि आपके जो revenue है वो ज़्यादा generate होगा, because there are many people who are looking into the site, there are many people who are accessing the website. So the people accessing the website basically increases the advertising campaign. ज़्यादा लोग देखेंगे, ज़्यादा लोग कोई चीज़ खरीदेंगे, ज़्यादा लोग उस चीज़ की तरफ attract होंगे. And basically the companies nowadays are optimizing their sites for search engine recognition. Search engine recognition means that कि search engine में आपका पेज जो है वो सबसे टॉप के ऊपर आ रहा है, right जी? So search engine optimization basically एक process है for improving the quality and volume of web traffic to a website. And how you're going to do that is by being on the topmost lists of the search engine. ठीक है, आपकी कोशिश different companies की कोशिश यही होती है ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा that they should come on the first page of the search engine result list. जो भी list आ रही है उसके first page के ऊपर वो आएं, so that people usually क्या करते हैं when they're searching, they just look at the first page. बहुत कम होता है जो next 2-3 pages के ऊपर जाते हैं for looking for finding the information that they really require. So search engine optimization basically आपका process है that uses different kinds of keywords that are looked into by the search engine. So आप इस तरह के keywords रखते हैं अपने site के अंदर, basically उसको metadata बोलते हैं, that जो कि आपका जो search engine के पीछे जो program काम कर रहा है, जिसको हम parser बोलते हैं और जिसको हम spider बोलते हैं या crawler बोलते हैं, that is basically going to look at those keywords और उन keywords के basis के ऊपर it's going to show the results on the search engine result page. So keywords इस तरह के रखते हैं companies वाले that are the most popular ones. For example, if you have a site that is related with lamps, तो lamps के बजाय आप एक keyword use करेंगे lighting. Yeah, because lighting is according to the companies, it's a word that is used most popularly. Lamps उसके बाद आएगा, probably कुछ लोग होंगे जो lamps लिखेंगे. So you have to put in different kinds of keywords in your metadata so that the companies, the search engines can get your website more quickly, and it shows it on the very first 2-3 pages of the search engine result. Right. Then we have a concept of a web 2.0. Web 2.0 basically means कि आपका जो web है that is again going through different kinds of versions. पहला web जो था that was all about static websites. आप websites की information सिर्फ ले रहे हैं, right? The web 2 is all about allowing people to collaborate, to share information and create new kinds of services and content online. So basically अब web 2 में लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, वो collaborate कर रहे हैं. They're not just taking in information, they are giving information as well, and they're doing it online. And also they're creating new kinds of services and the content online as well. 4 basic features हैं web 2.0 के, दैट मीन्स द वर्ल्ड वाइड वेब का जो सेकंड वर्जन जो आजकल चल रहा है, उसके 4 बेसिक फीचर्स हैं. नंबर 1 इज इंटरएक्टिविटी. Number 2 is the real-time user control. Interactivity means that the people are not just getting information, they are interacting as well. They are communicating with people. They are uploading information, uploading photos, uploading different kinds of text, downloading text, etc., uploading music, transferring music. तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं जो वो interactivity में कर रहे हैं. Again, real-time user control. Real-time में जो लोग हैं वो अपना वेब पेज जो है, फॉर एग्जांपल होम पेज है, उसको ऑल्टर कर देते हैं, प्रोफाइल्स को ऑल्टर कर देते हैं. सोशल पार्टिसिपेशन, अगेन बिकॉज ऑफ दी सोशल नेटवर्किंग साइट्स आपके सोशल पार्टिसिपेशन ऑन द इंटरनेट जो है वो ज़्यादा हो गई है. एंड यूजर जनरेटेड कंटेंट. सो मोस्ट ऑफ द कंटेंट अगेन इज generated by the user, whoever is using a certain website. अगेन आपकी फेसबुक की एग्जाम्पल है, उसके ऊपर जितना भी कंटेंट है वो सब यूजर्स का कंटेंट है. इट्स नॉट द कंटेंट ऑफ द पीपल हु हैव क्रिएटेड द साइट. एंड अगेन आपके जो ये जो वेब 2 के जो फीचर्स हैं उनके पीछे जो टेक्नोलॉजीज काम कर रही हैं, इंटरएक्टिविटी, रियल टाइम यूजर कंट्रोल, सोशल पार्टिसिपेशन एंड यूजर जनरेटेड कंटेंट, इसके पीछे 4-5 टेक्नोलॉजीज हैं. नंबर 1 इज द मैशअप एंड विजेट्स. व्हाट इज इट? बेसिकली इट्स सॉफ्टवेयर सर्विसेज that enable users and system developers to mix and match content for software components to create something new. ठीक है, बेसिकली क्या कर रहे हैं, डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ सॉफ्टवेयर सर्विसेज जो हैं उनको मिक्स एंड मैच करके दे आर क्रिएटिंग अ डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ कंटेंट. फॉर एग्जांपल ब्लॉग्स की एग्जांपल लूंगी, उसके ऊपर विजेट क्या चीज़ होती है. बेसिकली आपके 2 तरह के विजेट्स होते हैं. आइदर दे आर डेस्कटॉप विजेट्स. If you've seen आपके Windows Vista से शुरू हुए थे, that you can have a clock and a CPU navigator sort of a thing that you can put on the desktop. Again, Windows 7 also has that, as well as a calendar. ठीक है, these are your desktop widgets. Web widgets भी होते हैं, again छोटे programs होते हैं that have an added functionality, but they are limited to their own use. ठीक है, सिंपली आप एक प्रोग्राम छोटा सा होता है विजिट जो कि आप अपने डिफरेंट साइट्स में इंक्लूड कर सकते हैं. अगेन इट कुड बी अ क्लॉक, इट कुड बी अ वॉच, इट कुड बी अ कैलकुलेटर, इट कुड बी अ सिंपल कैलेंडर, और इट कुड बी सिंपल स्पोर्ट्स अपडेट का एक विजिट है, वो आप अपने वेबसाइट में या ब्लॉग में डाल सकते हैं. सो दीज आर डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स दैट कैन बी जस्ट सॉर्ट ऑफ प्लग्ड इनटू योर वेबसाइट. Blogs basically क्या है? Simple web blog is a personal website that contains a series of chronological entries by the author. Chronological means from newest to older. So आपके top के ऊपर जो entry नजर आ रही होती है वो newest entry होती है. So basically blogs basically contain your own views, your own ideas, your own जिस मर्जी किस्म का ब्लॉग आप क्रिएट कर सकते हैं. एजुकेशनल ब्लॉग्स हो सकते हैं, पर्सनल ब्लॉग्स हो सकते हैं, एंटरटेनमेंट ब्लॉग्स होते हैं, business related blogs होते हैं. You can have a blog for your own company as well, or a person can simply upload different kinds of information on the blog, और वो newest to oldest entries में आपके पास show हो रहे होते हैं. So basically blogs have become the very popular publishing tool, but again उसका drawback ये है कि if you put lots of information on the blog, then that could be held against you as well. And they also have business uses as well. Businesses में भी blogs बहुत ज़्यादा इस्तेमाल हो सकते हैं, depending on the use again, depending on the requirement again. राइट जी, ब्लॉग्स एक तो ये हो सकता है कि आप सिंपल टेक्सचुअल इन्फॉर्मेशन डाल सकते हैं. एक चीज़ होती है वीडियो ब्लॉग्स जिसमें डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ वीडियोस आर एडेड इनटू अगेन द क्रोनोलॉजिकल ऑर्डर, एंड देयर अगेन अ सिंगल यूजर कैन अपडेट द ब्लॉग. ऑल्सो देयर आर डिफरेंट पीपल हु कैन कमेंट ऑन अ सर्टेन एंट्री. अगर आपने 1 तारीख को एक एंट्री की है, देन देयर आर सर्टेन पीपल who are part of the blogosphere. That means people who are currently or have their own blogs. Even if they don't have their own blog, तो वो anonymous के नाम से comment आ जाता है. And they can simply use their own email accounts for that. For example, Google का email account use किया उन्होंने Gmail का, and they can comment on a certain blog. So basically, blogs again provide you a certain level of interactivity, but it's not as much as the wikis provided. राइट जी, RSS क्या है? अगेन आपके ब्लॉग के अंदर से ही एक ब्लॉग की वजह से ही सॉर्ट ऑफ ये टर्म ज़्यादा जनरेट हुई है. इट्स सिंडिकेट्स मीन्स कि आप लीगल कंटेंट को लीगली और समराइज्ड वर्जन में शेयर कर रहे हैं. वेबसाइट कंटेंट सो दैट इट कैन बी यूज्ड इन अनदर सेटिंग. फॉर एग्जांपल, एक वेबसाइट का कंटेंट लेके उसको दूसरी वेबसाइट के ऊपर सॉर्ट ऑफ अपडेट कर रहे हैं, या फिर एक सेट वेबसाइट का कंटेंट लेके आपके कंप्यूटर्स को फीड कर रहे हैं फॉर लेटर व्यूइंग एज वेल. ठीक है, सो दिस इज व्हाट वी मीन बाय रियली सिंपल सिंडिकेशन. इट्स सिंपली शेयरिंग ऑफ वन कंटेंट इनटू अनदर काइंड ऑफ वेबसाइट. किस किस्म का कंटेंट शेयर हो सकता है? न्यूज़ फीड्स शेयर हो सकती है, इवेंट लिस्टिंग शेयर हो सकती है, न्यूज़ स्टोरीज शेयर हो सकती है, हेडलाइंस, प्रोजेक्ट अपडेट्स, and they can also be used for distributing corporate information. कोई भी corporate update है, you can use this RSS functionality to get the information even when you're not on the website. तो आपकी ये information आपके कंप्यूटर में या आपकी अपनी साइट के ऊपर अपडेट हो जाती है. Again, wiki are different from the blogs because blog में एक बंदा है जो जिसका blog है वही अपने blogs को edit कर सकता है. Wikis on the other hand again are collaborative websites. Collaboration के लिए use होती हैं where visitors can add, delete or modify the site including the previous author's work. So एक wiki अगर create किया गया and there are different people who are members of the same wiki, then they can change the content of the same wiki page. ठीक है, one of the examples of the wiki is a Wikipedia जो कि एक online internet based encyclopedia है. Right जी, and wikis are basically again can be used for businesses. Again, for example, Motorola के sales representatives are using wiki for sharing the sales information. So जो भी sales information है they simply update it on their sales wiki, so that different other sales representatives can get the information. Right जी, then again we have social networking जो कि मैंने आपको example दी थी Facebook की, Twitter की. Then we have LinkedIn that is basically a social networking site for professional workers. Different professional लोग जो हैं वो social networking को use करके LinkedIn को use करके connect कर सकते हैं. Basically used to build communities of friends and professional colleagues. And it's not only about communicating between friends and all that, it's also about, now social networks are about communicating businesses as well. Different kinds of businesses जो हैं वो Facebook के through हो रहे हैं. It also allows you to create different kinds of apps, different kinds of applications and put on the Facebook to be used by different people as well. So social networking again is creating a lot of business opportunities as well. Right, so this was basically an idea about Web 2. That Web 2, like we said, is all about interactivity, real-time working, social participation and user-generated content. और ये सब कुछ किस जिन technologies की वजह से हो रहा है वो मैंने आपको बताई है. Widgets, blogs, RSS, wiki, social networking sites, इन सब की वजह से the web has moved on to the phase number 2 जिसको version 2 बोलते हैं. Web का version 3 भी है, that is all about the semantic verb and using the web services that we discussed before. Right, now let's talk about different applications. Internet और web की वजह से जो applications, business applications हैं वो किस तरह use हो सकती हैं. Like we said that internet provides you different kind of services. Or the very popular service that is the World Wide Web. So like I said before, your World Wide Web is a service that is provided by the internet. जिसकी मदद से you can view different kinds of websites. Another service, most popular service again, is the email or the electronic mail. Is a service that allows transfer of messages and files from one computer to another. तो email में आपके क्या हो रहा है? Basically, email जो word use करते हैं वो एक service के लिए use करते हैं. जो email का message होता है, जो mail होती है जिसको हम कहते हैं, that is called an email message. Okay, so basically when you use the word email, that basically means that it's a service that is allowing you to transfer messages from one computer to another. Another service is chat, which is again a real-time conversation between two people, and you have to be part of a certain chat group to chat. Instant messaging is again a version of chat, again real-time conversation hai, but you can also have your own channel listing or people lists आपकी अपनी maintain होती हैं, and then you can also have a view of who is online, who is not online. Also you can do sort of voice communication, as well as you can share different kinds of documents through instant messaging as well. So next we have voice over IP, which is also called the internet telephony. So now internet has basically become the most popular platform for voice transmission and corporate networking now. Now the companies do not use telephone lines for long distance calls. Instead they only use the network and use voice over IP functionality. Again, internet IP comes from the internet. So the voice travels in digital form in this voice over IP using packet switching. Again, आपके voice का जो data है, that is converted into different packets, and these packets are then created into packets. These packets move from one computer to another, one server to another, and reach the destination computer, where these voice packets are then joined together to form the data. So now the companies are using the same communication medium, that is the internet or the communication technology for data transfer as well as voice transfer. So इसका फ़ायदा क्या है कि long distance calls की जो cost थी वो reduce हो गई. Even the cost of local communication has reduced because people are now using voice over IP. Then another application or another service that is provided by the internet is called news groups. News groups basically kya hai? They're worldwide discussion groups that are posted on the internet electronic bulletin boards, on which people share views on a certain topic. So basically bulletin boards hote hain, different topics se related hote hain, and people can share their views on that simple topic. Or groups jo hote hain wo moderated hote hain ya unmoderated hote hain, और जो discussion जो हो रही है, that is through the help of email. So you use your own email ID to participate into a certain news group. और उसमें क्या होता है that moderate or unmoderated means that moderated में all the emails go to the certain moderator, or when that moderated okays the email, तो वो show हो जाती है screen के ऊपर या उस discussion group में show हो जाती है. Unmoderated means that there's no moderator or no single person who's handling the discussion, and whatever you type is shown on the discussion board automatically. So basically the news groups have a certain address, that's why email जो एक address के ऊपर जा रही होती है, or it moves on to the address of the moderator and then moves on to be displayed in the discussion board. Right, another service of the internet is the Telnet and file transfer protocol. Telnet basically is a protocol that enables you to log on to other computers to access different public files that are placed on those computers. ठीक है जी. दूसरा protocol is the file transfer protocol, because whenever you're connected to the internet, you are either downloading something on the internet or you're uploading something on the internet. So file transfer protocol basically is a protocol that defines the transferring of files between host and remote computers, between servers and the clients. So इसमें क्या चीज़ आ जाती है? Uploading भी आ जाता है and downloading content to or from any kind of website as well. So the protocol that works behind uploading and downloading is called the file transfer protocol. Content streaming क्या चीज़ है? Content streaming means that different kinds of content जो है that is showed on the websites nowadays. So that includes different kinds of multimedia content as well as radio broadcasts as well as video broadcasts as well. ठीक है, different sites हैं जिनके through आप contents देख सकते हैं, and you don't really need to download that content to view it, but you can just watch the streamed content. Streamed content means के आपने अगर एक बटन उसका प्ले का दबा दिया है, then you don't need to download that video. Instead कि जो ही आपने प्ले का बटन दबा दिया है, you are watching it on the screen जो वो डाउनलोड हो रहा है. ठीक है, on the screen. So this is called streaming, that you are watching it while the data is coming to you. That's why streaming में कभी-कभी delays आ जाते हैं. That for example, if you're watching anything on the YouTube or any other kind of Vimeo, for example, or different kinds of other video playing software, तो उसमें because you're streaming the video, that means कि उसमें थोड़ा delay आ जाता है because आपके जो data receive हो रहा है, that comes in a bit slowly. ठीक है, तो आप जब स्ट्रीम कर रहे होते हैं कोई चीज़, तो आप थोड़ी देर उसको स्ट्रीम होने देते हैं and then you start watching a certain video. Then another basic to जो applications हैं web की, कि आप web के through क्या कर सकते हैं. It's all about e-commerce, और e-commerce में आपके पास दो चीज़ें आ जाती हैं. One is web shopping, that you can simply shop on the web because of the new technologies and because of the security that is now available on the web. You can do different kind of shopping. You have एक instance होता है जो आपका create होता है when you're shopping, that is called a cart. Cart means again जो trolley सी होती है जिसमें आप चीज़ें add in करते जाते हैं. In the end, when you've taken in everything, you simply use your credit card to pay for everything that you've shopped for, and the thing is delivered to you. Then again, we have another concept called web auctions. Web auction means that it's basically creating a match between the buyers and sellers. कौन से buyers हैं, क्या चीज़ sell करना चाह रहे हैं, और कौन सी अच्छी price की वो sell करना चाह रहे हैं online. So one of the example is eBay. eBay आपकी बहुत popular example of the web auction site. कि आप ऑनलाइन ऑक्शन कोई चीज़ कर रहे हैं, ऑनलाइन सेल कोई चीज़ कर रहे हैं, देन यू आर आस्किंग फॉर द बेस्ट प्राइस, कि कौन सा बंदा जो है वो इस प्रोडक्ट की बेस्ट प्राइस दे सकता है. राइट जी. सो बेसिकली एंड इवन द बायर्स आल्सो से दैट यू वांट टू बाय समथिंग एट अ सर्टेन प्राइस. दैट्स व्हाई बेसिकली मैचेस डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ बायर्स एंड सेलर्स टुगेदर. So basically, these are the different kinds of services, you can say, that are provided by the internet, and different kinds of applications that can be used in the businesses as well. ठीक है, आपके businesses में भी different kinds of voice over IP, news groups, file transfer protocols, content sharing वगैरह वगैरह चीज़ें use हो सकती हैं. And again, web shopping and web auction are the two basic examples of e-commerce as well. E-commerce में ये दोनों चीज़ें use हो रही हैं. Apart from that, internet and the web also provides you the functionality of storing information online as well. ठीक है, different for example Google Docs too, and that also provide you to store different kinds of documents online. Yahoo groups हैं, that allows you to share information online as well in a group. For example, you create a certain group about concerning a certain people, and then you can put on documents in that certain group, and different people can view that information as well. Also, there's another application program called the Dropbox. Dropbox में क्या होता है? Again, you upload a certain you can upload photos, you can upload documents on that application program, and different people who can access the same Dropbox with the email address, they can view that information in real time as well. So as soon as anything is uploaded on the Dropbox, तो वही information दूसरे लोगों को भी उसी वक्त update हो जाती है that this thing has been updated on the Dropbox. Dropbox functionality जो है computers में भी use हो रही है, and it is being used in the smartphones devices as well. Right. In this chapter, we talked about the different kinds of telecommunications, the wireless technologies, as well as the internet. So basically हमने आपका एक complete telecommunication, networking और internet को एक साथ इस chapter में deal किया है. So how we're going to summarize this chapter is that when you looked at the different kinds of telecommunication techniques, we looked at the different kinds of techniques के लोग जो हैं वो communicate electronically किस तरह कर रहे हैं. So either they're using different kinds of physical medium for telecommunication, they're using computers, but जो computers हैं वो एक दूसरे के साथ connected किस तरह हैं. Either they're connected by using different kinds of physical medium, or they're connected by using the radio waves and wireless technologies. So, but whatever the form of technology that is being used in telecommunication, it is letting more people send and receive all forms of data over greater distances. So the data does not even include the textual data, but also voice and video information is being transferred from one place to another with the help of a lot of advancements in this telecommunications sector. Also, when we looked at the different applications of telecommunications and wireless technologies, we saw that the EDD and the electronic data interchange as well as electronic funds transfer are the very basic telecom applications that have changed the way organizations do business. So instead of giving people the paychecks are being transferred into the banks instead. And how they're doing that? With the help of EFT. इसी तरह आप जो अपने credit cards use कर सकते हैं, you can buy things without using the actual cash with the help of a simple credit card, and that amount is deducted from your account to the help of EFT again. So all this networking has basically changed the way businesses do the business nowadays. Then we've talked about the different kinds of wireless technologies. The wireless technologies have taken the communication to one step ahead. जहाँ पे आप cabling नहीं कर सकते, वहाँ पे you have the opportunity of providing high-speed internet access through the help of wireless technologies. For example, WiMAX की हमने example दी थी कि rural और remote areas में आप WiMAX install कर सकते हैं, and that would give you the opportunity to provide internet connectivity or network connectivity to areas that are dispersed. Right. Then we talked about the different what is internet and what is the World Wide Web. And when he said that internet provides a wide range of services as well, because of the internet आपके पास इतनी ज़्यादा services हैं that you can do multiple things by using only the internet, and most of these uses are practical for the businesses today as well. जो businesses हैं, they can use different kinds of collaborative softwares, they can use news groups, they use the emailing, they also use the instant messaging for collaborating and communicating and also doing the networking online. However, when we talk about these kind of technologies, तो management issues आ जाते हैं when you are dealing with providing the internet access, and when you're dealing with providing the best networking services, तो इसमें speed और services के issues आ जाते हैं that the managements have to deal with them. That आपका जो network अगर wireless networks की जो range है वो कम है, तो क्यों कम है? Or either you have to install more wireless access points, or you have to install more routers, or you have to, if it's slow, then you have to move from one kind of physical medium to maybe another kind of physical medium, maybe move from a coaxial cable to the fiber optics for optimal performance of the networks. So there are different issues that are involved here. इसके अलावा when you're dealing with internet and World Wide Web specifically, तो बहुत सारे security और privacy issues भी आ जाते हैं that we're going to deal with in the next chapter, जो हम ethical and security issues की बात करेंगे, especially when we're dealing with the information systems. इसके अलावा the next chapter is going to be about the security on the internet as well. So उसमें हम different issues देखेंगे कि आप अपने web access को किस तरह secure कर सकते हैं. Also ethical issues को भी discuss करेंगे when we're going to talk about that. कुछ companies जो होती हैं वो अपने employees का सारा data देख सकती हैं. Whatever they want to access on the internet, the companies can view that information. Maybe for their own security purposes, but it puts the people in a certain kind of problems as well. So different kinds of ethical issues being that are related with accessing the internet as well. So to summarize it all, we're going to say that information systems again are heavily based on telecommunications as well. एक तो बहुत important platform उसका था, that was the databases. That means कि जो सारी information company की store हो रही है, that was in the database. Again हमने data warehouse और data marts की बात की थी, that was storing the company's information. But वो एक level के ऊपर काम हो रहा है. दूसरे level के ऊपर the companies, the people or the employees working in the organization, as well as the employees that are working in two different companies, for example suppliers as well, the people need to communicate with the suppliers, customers and vendors as well. So people need to communicate with the suppliers, vendors and customers as well. And for that communication, the communication needs to be fast, it needs to be reliable, and there needs to be an ease of access to everybody for every kind of information. And that can only happen with the help of different kinds of technologies that are used for telecommunication, that are used for networking, that are used for sharing the information. And that not only includes कि आपने एक simple network install कर लिया, but it also includes कि आप internet को और world wide web को अपने purpose के लिए किस तरह सही तरीके से use कर सकते हैं. What are the services that can be used that provide you different kinds of benefits. इसके अलावा you can have different kinds of programs and application programs that can be used with the internet as well to optimize the efficiency of the working as well. So this is all for today. We're going to meet in the next lecture. Thank you very much.